What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, here with another one-on-one with the supervillain video. Y'all already know the drill. I don't need to repeat it each and every week and every time you see these. So I love doing these and I have fun doing these. And I'm back around again with the homie from the crib from Chicago. And we got a lot to talk about again because shit keeps changing every month. My boy, Mr. Chauncey Woodson. Chauncey, what's happening, bro?
Brother, what is cracking? What is going down, Supervillain Squad?
Hey,
Happy
man.
Friday Eve, everybody.
Y'all about to be y'all on lockdown and we going back to it as well.
Man. Yeah, it seems like the fun never ends with this crap, man. I tell you.
You know what? It's been so much to the point like, yeah, you're over it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, I'm done. I'm over it. But you realize that just saying I'm over it ain't a thing.
No,
and the way people keep acting like, you know, if they just say that they over it, then it's done. And like, that's not how this works at all.
Definitely just not how it works. And I should speak from experience because I not only had 1, 2, but 3 homies go through this when they tested positive. Thankfully, they are recuperating and they about 100%. But yeah,
dude, I had a couple homies going through it. I had one homie who just went through. I think you know him. Yeah, you know the homie Thomas J.
Yeah.
He went through both the flu and COVID.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell, bro? And his brother caught it, who was another one of our guys.
I was like, yo, but that's the thing, though. That's one of the things people kept forgetting. We've been talking about it a lot on here and everything else. People forgot cold and flu season is real. Like, it's gonna come around and it's gonna smack with it.
Oh, it's gonna smack with it big time. And then, you know, people who call themselves trying to be in their feelings because they can't do no Black Friday shopping like they used to. Is like, get the hell over it.
The fact that people are mad because you can't stand in line at 2 a.m. to try to get a TV, like, come on, fam, stop. Stop. It ain't that serious.
Right. And it's bad enough you got them acting all thirsty over PS5s and iPhone 12s. It's like you more worried about getting some consumer product than worrying about your own damn health and other people's health. It's like,
you got to remember, we're talking about a bunch of people out here nowadays that have all of their priorities fucked up, for lack of better words. All their priorities are out of order. None of them know what they really want to do or should be doing. And again, the shit that they do prioritize is just like, what? Why?
Exactly.
Because for me, like, yo, Black Friday is one of them things. I've gone Black Friday shopping in a sense one time ever. And I've never stood in line. I've never been part of that rush. I've never felt the need to want to be part of that. I've never felt the urge to want to be one of, I got to try to trample some people over to get a TV for $200.
Like, and some of the videos that I've seen, especially in recent years, is sickening what these people do to each other. Like, I remember, I'll never forget one video. One matter of fact, it was last year sometime. This black lady, a little girl, had a toy. Some white chick just randomly run up, snatched the toy from the little girl, got her crying. I'm like, what the hell? Who the hell does that bullshit?
Yeah, the fact did she get whooped? Because, like,
oh yeah. She calls her business, guaranteed.
She caught that work. That's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't.
She called the business.
Also, I don't understand why people bring their kids to that. No, I'm not going to lie. Now that before more, the lady is bogus from snatching from the shorty. She's absolutely bogus. But like, why are you bringing your kids to a melee?
Big time melee. It's like you seeing random backyard wrestling matches going on and shit right in front of you.
Right in front of your face. Like, no, my kids will never would have came to me with that. Because again, like I said, I'm not for it. Like, so this is the thing I used to do every year. So Black Friday itself, the whole late nights, you know, open midnight, all that crazy shit would happen.
Right.
I would go at like 9, 10 in the morning to like certain electronic stores, and whatever electronic little smaller thing I'm looking for, I'm gonna grab now. Because now I know it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for instance, when DVDs were a thing, I would stock up on my DVD collection on Black Friday.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? Or if I want to find, like, let's say if I need a universal remote. Oh, I can get one for $3 now. I'm just using that as an example. But like, I ain't gonna, again, TV is not that big of a deal to me.
No,
like not. TVs go down all year. Like, why do everybody think all of a sudden now, like, I never understand that, bro. But again, it's like with all this going on with the pandemic, people are still gonna try to pull it. Because again, now they're telling everybody in every state, like if you don't have to, don't travel for Thanksgiving. And I've said this to people just in regular conversation. Motherfuckers ain't trying to hear that.
No, they ain't. But see, like my family and myself and my family, we're finna try it, in the sake of safety, we're gonna do a Zoom Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna see how that's gonna work out.
But I think that's the thing. Like a lot of people have been anti because again, the personal feeling, the togetherness isn't there, which of course understandable. It's not there, but at the same time, it's like when you hear these cases skyrocketing the way they are. Again, cases were gonna happen. It is what it is. It's one of those things. It's like I look at the whole picture. As opposed to some people who look at one side or the other. Like you got people who are just like, oh, this is about controlling people. I'm like, this ain't got nothing to do with controlling you, motherfucker. This is a global pandemic. Like, stop. My thing is this, like, there are some people who are going to who are going to try to be safe. But also, you got people who didn't give a shit. This shit spread it like that. This shit spread it the way it did recently because of voting. Voting.
Oh, yeah.
Because
all the rallies and such too.
Not even just the rallies. If you look at the map, like now pretty much is the whole United States, but as a whole, from what I saw originally, the middle of America, the majority of states that are Trump supported states, where he pushed for people to go out to the polls, where he pushed for it, all of those states now are blowing up with COVID cases.
It's crazy.
And yes, every other state is having them, don't get me wrong, but they're not on the massive, like, holy shit, what is happening now? It's a fucked up thing, and because a lot of people keep trying to bring up this whole it ain't deadly to everybody, which is true. It's not deadly to everybody, but it's playing Russian roulette with your fucking life.
Big time. And especially if you're not doing anything to keep up your immune system. Because like with me, every morning, especially when I'm going to work, I always make sure I get some vitamin C in my system. Whether it's pills, orange juice, all the above, I do what I gotta do to make it happen.
Well, people, again, I just gonna call it for what it is. I see a lot of Trump supporters. When you look at them at these rallies, like, yo, you out of shape, overweight, don't look like you do nothing. So you're not gonna tell me your health is in the best condition, especially your respiratory health, where if this goes down, you can completely fight it. Like, people just don't get this shit, man. Like, I get it. You want to be free. You want to do what you do. Okay, cool, whatever. But people just gotta realize, like, yo, this shit right now, I'm going. So I'll say this: I'm going to Tacoma, Washington for Christmas for my daughter because I haven't spent Christmas with my daughter in a minute.
Right.
But as I always travel and as I always have, I've made sure I'm safe. I've made sure my mask is on. I've got hand sanitizer. I'm away from people. You know what I'm saying? I'm flying on airlines where it's like they're not selling the middle seat or nothing like that. I'm keeping to myself. I'm not doing all these things. I'm doing everything I can and I need to do to ensure my safety. And then people, want to be around. But there are people who just like they don't give a fuck. And yes, are masks comfortable? Absolutely not. Not for so long. No, for no one is. No one is. No one. You know what I'm saying? Surgeons
wear like 8-9 hours a day, so I should know.
Right. But I'm saying nobody really wants to have to keep this thing over their face. I get it. I completely get it 100-fold. It's just like when it came to being in the gyms out here, they was like, yo, or even everywhere, they were like, yo, you got to wear your mask in the gym. And it's like, all right, if I'm doing basic shit, I can wear a mask. If I'm lifting, I can wear a mask. But if I'm running and doing cardio, yeah, that's a difficult thing to do. I get it. But it's not about me at the end of the day, man. It's not about what I want, you know what I'm saying, or how I feel. It's about the collective in a sense. And it's not trying to sound like government overrule or a assimilation of a Borg situation a la Star Trek. It's like, yo, it's a global fucking pandemic. And then people sitting and complaining, bro. And I'm sorry to rant, but because I had these 2 shots on Blurs, if you ain't see, because we were celebrating for Winston. I didn't need to be drinking. But man, I didn't want to drink. But it's also, even when we suppose this vaccine from Pfizer is like 95% effective, right? Okay. But now people tell us when they don't want to take it. So, but yeah.
Yeah, see what I'm seeing and hearing all this, just not only just with you and just reading and watching stuff, is really just getting down to a point of damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yes, I agree with that.
Right here, right now, it's like, yeah, we're in the real hot zone of it all with the cold and flu season. At the same time, if they do got something, I mean, worst case scenario, we're gonna have to go ahead, bite the bullet, and take it. However, from a previous interview that we did, I know we said something about it'll have to be 6 months to a year in order to see how everything is going to play out with it. Because of course, people are going to be, man, let's try this vaccine. Let's try this vaccine. It's like, okay, you try the vaccine, but just like with how Corona's working out with the side effects, how do you know?
And that's the thing, nobody will know because they've been doing studies. Excuse me, they've been doing studies, and people are like, well, some of the people have been doing studies, been good. And I'm like, yeah, that's in the immediate. Like that's in the immediate. That's not the what happens in a year, what happens in 2 years, things like that. Right. But it also, because I know you've seen this on Facebook, because I've seen it too. It's mainly been niggas talking about something. I'm not taking a vaccine because they're trying to put a chip in me, and I'm like, yo, you literally said that on Facebook.
Hoteps.
Man, they ain't even hoteps though. That's the thing. It ain't even just the hoteps no more. It's like you talking about they finna put a chip in you while you say this on a social media platform on your cell phone.
Right. I'm like, you ain't Will Smith. This ain't in the state. Calm yourself down.
Also, you got to tell people, and people hate hearing this, what make you so special worth tracking?
Thank you.
Like, just be real.
Unless you're guilty of something that you don't good what you shouldn't be doing.
You ain't worth being tracked.
Right.
Oh, I don't need them tracking me. Okay, who are you to track? Because if you ain't nobody worth tracking, if you just a regular person, then they ain't not thinking about you.
Nope, sure in the hell not. But that's folks in their paranoia. What can I say?
What are you seeing? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, speaking of paranoia and such, well, now that we are soon to be in a new age of somewhat normalcy in the form of
President
Joe Biden and Miss Kamala Harris, you notice a lot of these Trump folk been mighty hella quiet.
You think? These motherfuckers was the most loud, raucous, rambunctious people ever leading up to this election. And then they saw how bad he lost. And you got some, of course, you have some who are like, oh, the election isn't over. No, the shit's over. Because the thing is, if he literally tries to pull, because like people believe he's trying to pull a coup. If he can pull it, that's what will send this country into a civil war.
Oh yeah, big time.
But also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say because the fact that it took him damn near over a week to finally admit, yeah, he won, but then he still don't want to concede. It's like, all right, what type of BS you finna pull, dude?
That's why he's trying to get everybody around him to do what he wants. That's why he just called the lawmakers in Michigan to come to the White House, and they were like, cool, because again, these motherfuckers believe he really has a chance of turning this over when all his lawsuits been dismissed, all of them getting thrown out. And again, everybody's like, well, what about the electors themselves? Well, if the electors decide to all of a sudden, because it can happen where the electors cannot, will not. But if they all of a sudden decide to do it, that in itself will start some shit.
Oh, yeah,
it's
definitely.
So much. And then also, Donald Trump believes, and a lot of people forget this. Everybody knows, like, yeah, you're the president, you're the commander in chief of the military, which is true. Absolutely. But he automatically thinks that the military is going to jump on his side. And that is not going to happen.
Hell no.
Because he becomes an enemy domestic.
Oh, yeah, big time.
People forget. People like, oh, yeah, the military will follow him. What military?
Right. The only way the military is going to follow him is that they get them daggone codes away from him. That's the only way they'll follow him.
They gonna take codes. They trying to do all this shit. That's why he trying to set, like, again, he's one of those people that's, I'll burn this shit to the ground before I give it to you.
Let's see, that's the thing in the back of my mind that just got me slightly concerned. So
did not burn this shit to the ground.
To it. Right.
Oh, it's not even the back of my mind. It's in the front. I know that's exactly what he's doing. Again, you're talking to someone who's never had to be considered a loser, no matter what. Even when his business is flopped, there's bankruptcy protection. He's never been a loser per se. This is the first time he's ever outwardly lost, and he lost on a global scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. So
this motherfucker gonna take he's like if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. I'm taking everything with me. And again, it's that I'll burn this bitch to the ground before I let you get it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a waiting game now. So, but
and that goes back to your point of how loud Trump supporters were, because what's gonna happen is, as always, Trump supporters have selective memory because they're always typically Republican supporters and things like that.
Right.
So when Obama came in and picked up all the bullshit from Bush, they were like, oh, look how he fucking the country up. And everybody was like, yo, he just inherited the worst recession ever. Like, what are you talking about? Right now, Joe Biden's going to come in. Number one, Trump's tax plan is going to fuck everybody that thought they was getting this extra money. That tax plan going to bite people in the ass.
And see, that's what killed me about that too, because for all the people, especially how supposedly they say a lot of black men went and switched over to try to vote for Trump, is like, are y'all that damn thirsty for another $1,200? Really? And it's like, come on, y'all. It's like,
oh no, not even just $1,200, because the platinum plan is going to quote unquote help black communities. And it's like, you really believe that Donald Trump is going to give the black community $500 billion when he can't even get Congress to give America $1.5 trillion? Not to mention, this is the best part that should really let them know something. All the votes he keep trying to get thrown out are primarily black communities and black votes. But no, he all of a sudden for you, I'm like, fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, dude is dude ain't gonna do. He gonna do his damnedest, basically.
I mean, he's already doing it.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna be surprised how much kicking and screaming he gonna do, because he gonna have to get dragged out of there.
And I don't think he understands. He probably said that as because one of his advisors told one of the reporters, he said they'll have to kick him, they'll have to drag him out. The Secret Service would. I don't think he understands. They will.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he gets the severity. Like, if the military, even if the Secret Service don't do it, if the MPs have to come into the White House to remove him, they will.
All I gotta say is, if and when that happens,
make that shit a pay-per-view for me.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the biggest shit show on God's green earth.
Because again, America's already trying to rebuild its reputation, and now you lose it worse because your former president is a whining brat and did not want to leave the White House. Like, what?
I just want to see Pence and everybody's faces. They're gonna be like, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Oh, the level of motherfuckers that's gonna be like, hey,
right,
dude. This is how you know it's gonna be those level of people. Of course, you have the sycophants, if you will, that's still like kissing his ass and just because they're like, oh, he has a base and he still has his power. But if you notice, remember, before the election, all in Republican-based states, none of them were ever talking about a lockdown or anything going on, no matter what happened with COVID. After the election, you start seeing a bunch of these Republican states, yeah, we about to lock shit down. It's like now they had a realization, like, fuck, he's not here no more.
Yep.
Because for as many, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say they're gonna have to deal with it, and plus, like all the little cheerleaders, whatever, and took down their flags. I barely see a MAGA hat on the street anymore, so it's like,
and he ain't got the nerve to be like, well, can we go back to being civil? No. Or can we go back to being normal? So what you're saying is you knew what you were doing wasn't normal. You knew what it was, and now you want to sit here and try to have everybody play. Oh, be nice to me, because this is a hurtful time. Fuck your feelings. Remember how you wanted to just make libs cry because that's the only reason. Nah, you don't get to play that role now. You don't get to do that.
Because every other time somebody says something about, Black Lives Matter or, trans lives matter or brown lives matter or whatever, and then they want to keep, shoving down your throat. No, all lives matter, blue lives matter, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like, let's just all get along. I'm like, nah, dude, fuck that.
Nah, that don't happen there. You don't get that. You don't get that. You don't get that privilege to sit there and say all of a sudden now, well, guys, it's just one of those things we have to move forward from. No. We don't just move forward from it now like you think this happens because you tried to you were part of this whole thing that tried to fuck the country. And like now they're mad because you see a lot of Republicans, a lot of congressmen more so. Oh, AOC said that people should come after Trump's people who supported him and everything. You goddamn right they should. Goddamn right they should. Because all of you all were complicit in this bullshit that has gone on. You think people just let this shit go? No.
Oh, and I can just imagine the faces and the feelings of the Cooniverse, as I call it.
I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm gonna show you something real quick because I've said it before and I will say it again. Here is a black inside the home of a black Trump supporter.
Yep, you're exactly right. Everybody from them to Lil Wayne to Isaiah Washington.
Lil Wayne ass getting locked up for 10 years. You didn't hear about him? He just got popped off with a whole bunch.
I heard about that. I was like, sorry.
And you were convicted felon, fam. And he ain't finna help you. Remember, you did all this ass kissing. He ain't finna help you. Isaiah Washington gonna be what he is. Candace Owens gonna be like, well, blah, blah, blah. Bitch, we know what happened. You had black friends who talked about you, and so now you went to white. But now everybody's like, well, we're gonna go to Parler because that's where real patriots are. No, that's where you can say hateful and dumb bullshit and feel like you can't be reprimanded for it. That's all it is. But if you feel like you need a safe space, go ahead, Snowflake, because that's literally what it is.
Yeah, and I can imagine all the has-beens like Dean Cain and Christy Alley and
fucking Kevin Sorbo,
James Woods, and so on and so on. Yeah, they own little special fountain zone and shit.
Oh, bro, I'm on Parler. I got an account on Parler just to see how much these motherfuckers lie to each other.
Yeah,
these motherfuckers like. It's amazing they keep going. The best part is always when they go, the votes of the American people. Okay, so what are you saying? You act like people who voted for Joe Biden aren't part of the American people. Stop saying that because y'all try to make it really seem like you're only the Americans. Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, twisted logic of folks kills me. Speaking of twisted logic, what the hell is wrong with Gina Carano? I'm read and seen her stuff. It's like, chick, what is your major malfunction? I mean, no wonder why somebody called her the real life Stormfront from The Boys season 2.
Man, a lot of people say, yo, Gina, I've seen somebody comment on something I posted. They were like, Gina Carano is Stormfront. And I was like, yeah, man. Again, the problem is, and I hate to use that term problem, when dude got in office, because of how he was able to say what he wanted to say running and everybody voted for him. He opened the door for everybody to say what they truly feel, which is fine. Say how you feel. Be who you really are. I'm about time. I'm about glad that you don't have to be a closeted racist anymore. I'm glad you don't have to hide behind anything. We know who you are. We know if you're a bigot on this thing. We know how you feel. Cool. But now that you're out in the open, you got to deal with the consequences about that.
Oh, yeah.
You got to deal with that.
And then when she was getting shut out, and then especially when you said that she blocked you after you came out of neck, all of a sudden
I was like, bitch, I made it.
Right. There you have it. She tried to call herself trying to twist her words around all of a sudden trying to speak all positive. I was like, chick, you just got through speaking about having damn shock troopers around. And not the kind from Star Wars. I'm talking about real life shock troopers.
Mm-hmm.
But now you want to twist your words after you got caught up or whatever. It's like, nah, too little, too late.
Again, she's one of those people who the problem is this is how simple-minded some people are. Mm-hmm. So let's say for instance, I go off on a video, fuck gay people, fuck white people, fuck these other black people, fuck your trans rights, blah, blah, blah. And I go out and say all that, right?
Right.
So whatever comes back to me because of that, whatever happens career-wise, I've earned that. And the fact is, there are many people in positions of power who are minorities, LGBTQ members, and all this shit you disrespecting. So now you are at that behest. And so, of course, you're going to have the people who will be like, oh, well, they shouldn't cancel her because of this. Guess what? You don't have the power to move her, to move or break her career. The people she talking shit about does, though.
Oh, yeah. And Roseanne learned that the hard way.
And Roseanne learned that.
And Hartley Sawyer.
But again, they giving him one pass. They giving Hartley Sawyer a pass because they bringing him on to close out the story.
Oh, they are? Okay.
I mean, I can see why. I can get it. Like, they're bringing him on to close out the story with him, and it's done. Fine. Cool. But, I mean, but that's the thing, too. Now, see, the thing with Hartley Sawyer is something I kind of, I push back on, because when you start going through people's tweets from years and years ago and trying to use that as something like fuel and ammunition now, that's an issue. Because my thing is this. It's true, people evolve and still grow even as they get older. They mature still consistently. Some people's thoughts from 10 years ago are not their thoughts today. Some people's are. But especially when you have people who are comedians, I think that's the line where I draw the line at when it comes to comedians, because comedians, we've always, at the time when these jokes are told, we are able to tell these jokes.
Right. And it's kind of like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's kind of like how people want to attack Biden and Kamala for their past transgressions with stuff that they've been involved in as far as making laws and stuff like that go. It's like they evolved as people and as professionals. And it's like,
also ask them about the Black Congressional Congress that helped pass it, and also talk to. This is how you got to get Black people with that subject. And of course, they'll be like, "Oh, you just cooning for Biden." It's like, no, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is. The Black Congressional Caucus put that forth, and then he helped to pass it. But also ask yourself the question: why was it needed to be passed in the first place? Because if you didn't live in Chicago in the '90s, then you can't say shit because you don't understand why. You have no idea why, and that's exactly why it was passed. So, it put a lot of Black people in jail. Yeah, and let's just keep it 100. A lot of them niggas that went to jail back then deserved it.
Definitely deserved it.
They deserved it.
Because everywhere it was every hour, it was every couple hours. There was always a drive-by shooting somewhere. No matter if it was West Side, South Side. It was like,
bro, I remember growing up on Winchester. I remember being on the porch, watching the nigga get shot in the alley across the street on 77th and Walcott. I remember watching the body drop. I remember watching the nigga walk down the street with a tech on his side, say, y'all need to go in the crib. I remember these things in the 90s. So for people to act like that's not what it was, like, yo, it is what it is. Like, again, it'd be a different story if it was like, man, they just over-exaggerated shit. Like, nigga, no, they didn't. But then when you have Kamala Harris, it's like, yo, her job was to prosecute. Oh, well, she didn't throw some of these charges out. Fair. Okay, what is she supposed to do every time a Black dude comes up in front of her with a little bit of a weed case or whatever, when stuff is still illegal, automatically dismiss it? Look, I understand you want some people not to go to jail for frivolous crimes. I get that. But at the same time, you have a job you have to do.
It's like, you can't give every Black person on God's green earth a pass.
Nope. And people think that's too much. People think that because I'm Black and you Black, if somebody in position isn't Black, they supposed to instantly look out for me, especially if I'm wrong. Right. If I'm wrong, then you're really supposed to look out for me. It's like, that's not how this works at all.
No,
But people don't think these things, man. They sit there and act as if, again, we're so stuck on this. Now it's about this. Oh, we all got to lift each other up and be about each other, which is fine. We do need to push our community together, which we should have. Which all of a sudden, I hate the fact it just became a thing. Now we're trying to do when it should have been something we've been doing for the longest. But I digress.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when you have these situations, you got motherfuckers like, oh, well, how come this ain't happening? That ain't happening. How come they did this and they do that? Like, no. And then you end up getting these coon ass niggas that run these Trump supporters who sit there. And because now they like, oh, well, maybe I'll be safer on this side. Maybe as long as I'm a law-abiding citizen, they won't do shit. When the fact of the matter is, that side that they choose to take up will diss them just as quickly before they even do a thing.
I.e., old boy who got messed up in, I think it was East Texas or something like that a couple months ago. And what made it so bad, he was a football player or something like that. I forgot dude's name. But come to find out, he was both Trump supporter and Blue Lives Matter supporter.
Oh, I remember the dude you're talking about now. And everybody, he was so anti-shit. He was so positive, pro-police and all this shit. And then the police whooped his ass just for being black. And everybody was like,
Exactly.
And again, it's not trying to say to diss all cops. Because again, a couple of my homies, my best friends are cops. Like, I understand what they go through.
With some cops myself.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
they do their job, though. That's the only
I know they do their job. But when I look at, when I know it's some motherfuckers out here who have a badge and have a license to literally harass black and brown people, it's the truth. It's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
But you want to think, oh, I'm Blue Lives Matter. First of all, blue is not a color of a life.
It's a job.
It's a job. It's a job. I need people. That's the one thing I've been telling motherfuckers for the longest. Motherfuckers got to stop that Blue Lives Matter. Blue is not a color of life. Blue is a job. You choose to wear the blue. You choose to put that on. I don't choose to be black or brown, whatever you choose to call it. I don't choose that. I woke up born with all this. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But folks ain't never ever gonna get it. But kind of switch it up a little bit though. Something we ain't talked about in a good long while. The wrestling scene, man.
I figured you were gonna ask me about this wrestling scene. I was like, where we gonna go with this one? Because I got thoughts.
It's been a minute though. One of the things that popped up that I want to ask you about, what's your take on this whole Zelina Vega release situation?
Thea Smart. Here's the deal. Thea said it her best herself. I'm making more money off my Twitch than I made in my WWE contract. Why would I let this go? And also, again, everybody think WWE superstars mean instant millionaires, and it don't.
No.
And it don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And plus, when you break down all the expenses that they have, luckily they're only doing shit in Orlando right now. So a lot of them are saving money. Luckily. But when they got to travel and all that, it's not that way. Then she made the OnlyFans. She was making money off that. They were like, no, because the WWE was like, oh, we control the character and the likeness. Okay, so Zelina Vega's not doing a fucking OnlyFans. Zelina Vega's not doing a Twitch. Oh, the likeness. All right, well, this is me. I dress as Zelina Vega this way. This is me dressed as me.
Right.
I feel like Vince was like, they shouldn't get money without me, basically. Vince is like, if they gonna get money because of me. And so one of the smartest people who rolling with it right now is Miro and Lana, because Miro still got his Twitch channel and his YouTube channel, right? Lana is on his Twitch channel because why? That's his wife.
Yep.
You can't tell it. You can't tell her not to do a video, not to be on something with your husband. That's his channel. That's not her channel. Granted, you know, them as a couple, it's a married couple, and there's people who are with each other. They're gonna split that shit down the middle, but I will still make the money together. Granted, it was two separate streams at first, because mainly it was Lana's at first, because she had been doing her channel longer than Miro had did his.
Right.
Because he didn't start all his stuff until after he got released. And so he did all his joint. But it's like, yo, if I'm making money, if you ain't selling merch, number one. If you ain't selling merch, you ain't a top name. People can be like, oh, I see them on TV and I love what they do. But if you ain't a top name, you ain't making merch, and you ain't on the road, You ain't making money like that. And even when you're on the road, you're spending money. WWE make them pay for their own flights. The only thing WWE put them up is in the hotel. They buy the hotel out. But they spend their own flights, transportation, all that. They got to spend their money on that. That ain't cheap.
No, it's not. No, it's seven. That's crazy. And I'm wondering how soon it's going to be for Alistair to be like, I'm out.
Well, he was trying. So here's what he did. I don't know if you heard. He was trying to go back down to NXT. So he ain't got to be from Vince. He was like, I don't blame him, because what people forget, Vince is at every Raw and SmackDown, whether he's on TV or not. Vince is in Gorilla. Vince is backstage.
Right.
And so people like, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm like, I'm gonna stick up for my wife more than anything. Right. I love my job, but I love my wife.
Right.
And again, this is Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Whether they go by other names, they're profitable talents. They'll never, if they want to stay in the business working and making money, they can do so. Yes, it's not WWE money. I get it. But at the same time, again, like I just mentioned, if you're not a major star, everybody think WWE money is a lot of money. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Because I was going to say, you can look at, what's his name? Matt. I want to pronounce his last name.
Cardona. Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder?
Yeah. It was like, by him going over to AEW, I mean, he still has a following regardless, though.
Because he built it himself.
Right. Because especially with the YouTube stuff that he's doing, with the action stuff or whatever and all that, it's like he got a hell of a following, either or. So it's like, if he can make that work, I'm sure other folks can make it work in their own little special way, too.
But that's why, again, it's like you have to have you have to have built that. You have to have, I mean, you can. The thing is, and I'm seeing this even doing the shit we do with Blurs and trying to do shit on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Building a following is not on building an online following you. Was that you outside of me?
No, that was me. My bad. I'm in my living room.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I was like, sound like, because I know it was mine or yours. But building a following outside of whatever your profession is to come to online streaming and watching you is difficult, especially when it's a million motherfuckers doing it already.
Yeah.
So,
it's definitely
granted, when you have that TV presence already from WWE, that helps that helps off jump. That's a number one. That's a leg up of anybody. People don't come over because, oh shit, this is the dude I watch on WWE. Let me see what they're doing. Let me subscribe to their channel. I ain't got to stay watching their videos, but I'm gonna subscribe. So now your subscriber numbers jump up. Well, now you got to start putting content out here to keep them going. So now you're putting this content and they staying with you. Well, when he was Zack Ryder, he was like, yo, I'm gonna be the internet champion.
Right.
Vince didn't like that. Vince didn't like that because Vince tells everybody, you got to get yourself over, right? Okay, cool. I did that. Oh, but not like that. Don't do it like that. And so now it's like, yo, what did you want?
Right. And McMahon.
What's your thoughts on it?
Me, I just feel like Zelina didn't do anything wrong. Vince is like just constantly wanting to pull strings no matter what. It's like, dude, you're about to ride out anytime soon. I mean, not that I'm wishing on that, but you're about to ride out anytime soon. Let Paul, aka Triple H, and Stephanie do what they do with the talent because they're more understanding about the talent. They understand what not only fans want, but they actually interact with the performers on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody loves Triple H like they do, especially when it comes to NXT. That's why NXT is hot as it is right now, because he has an understanding of who and what the talent represents. Vince is, constantly on this old school theory of, I need my big monsters. We can have a little guy or two in there, but we just need, have him thrown around. Maybe do a little stunt here and there, but he needs to get thrown around to push my monster over. And it's like, no, dude. That's starting to be a bygone era if it's not being already.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know, man.
But then it's like, when you look at the alternative, it's like, what are they doing better sometimes?
Right. Because no, I was going to say prime example, since you're speaking about that, I look at what they've done between the likes of Undisputed Era, Hurt Business, and Retribution. Undisputed Era, yeah, some people can say it's just nothing but like a new age evolution of legacy, but they've become their own entity in itself, and they've gotten over big time. And quiet as kept, they're one of the big staples of NXT. When it comes to her business, you know, I've heard some ramblers here that they ain't nothing but an all-black version of Horseman Evolution, but in due time, they built themselves over, and with all the experience like Lashley, MVP, and Shelton got, and especially with them bringing in Cedric Alexander to, you know, kind of usher him in and everything, they become white hot. They become on point, and I love her business.
I'm gonna tell you something. MVP said something. Somebody he either retweeted it or was talking about somebody that brought this up. Like, why can't they just be the Hurt Business? Why is it, you know, they don't have to be the Nation, they don't have to be the New Day, they don't have to be the Horsemen, they're just the Hurt Business. Right. Like, let them be who they are, and it's what it is. Like, Undisputed Era works because he took the hottest indie names, put them together. He took the ROH boys and kept them together, basically. He based Undisputed Era is basically ROH represented in WWE. That's the best way to call it. Right? But Hunter also knows that NXT's fan base is mainly an indie wrestling fan base.
Right.
So why not have hot independent talent do their thing? Cool. Exactly. Keeps NXT in ratings. And you got the Hurt Business, like, yo, you ain't finna put Bobby Lashley over for the WWE title. Pat, keep him as a universal title. But when you do that, you finna make sure that what he's a part of is gonna stand out for sure. Shelton back on TV. Ain't got to talk because Shelton don't talk right anyway when it comes to promos. Right. Cool. MVP, the mouthpiece, perfect.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Retribution, though, on the other hand, it has so much potential.
It makes so bad. I like Mustafa Ali. I like Mia Yim. I like Dijakovic. And Dio Madden, from the stuff that I've seen here and there on YouTube or wherever, I would have loved to see, you know, more of him perform, whether it was Raw, SmackDown, or even NXT. But it's like,
they messed up with Retribution for me for several things. Okay. Number one, when they quote unquote gave them a contract.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That was stupid. Never give them a contract. Let them keep doing what they do. All of a sudden, have these matches. Yo, if you want to do this, you can come, but we got to have a match. You get the security or whatever. And I understand the pandemic, you can't always do the security angle. Cool.
Right.
Should have gave them a match. Number two, the names are terrible. The names let me know you don't care. The names let everybody know you didn't give a shit about the group. Right?
T-Bar, Slapjack.
Mace and Slapjack. We knew off jump that T-Bar was fucking Dominic Dijakovic. Everybody was like, "That's Dominic Dijakovic. What are you talking about?" Right. Like then you looked at Mace, you were like, "That's Dio Madden." Like, and don't get me wrong, he's trying to give it all he got for that character.
Oh yeah.
So is Shane Thorne is over as Slapjack, and I get it. And it's like, yeah, you're gonna try to you're trying to do what Cody did with Stardust.
Right.
Cody took make the best out of a bad situation. Cody took Stardust and ran with it and made it something. The problem is, again, you got them constantly losing.
Man.
Cleanly. Like, if they lose, they should always lose by DQ or count out.
Right.
Like, unless it's forced where it's literally one-on-one where nobody's allowed ringside or something like that, that's the only way they should lose. They should have. Because now what Retribution is supposed to be, it doesn't make any sense. Mustafa Ali, the way, you know, his promos are, it's like, again, initially that would have made sense if you'd have brought him in as the leader earlier. Exactly. But now, again, what are you leading them to? They're not doing the random jumps no more.
Nope.
They're not doing random jump because that was the thing that made Retribution hot. You didn't know who was going to come in and get this work. And so,
I don't know either. Now, one last thing on the wrestler side. What's your take on the whole Roman Reigns heel run? I believe it or not, I love it.
I fucking love it, and I'm so glad it took this long to get it. Like,
exactly.
I'm so mad. But the thing is, they said he wasn't even supposed to be champ this long.
Oh wow.
Like, he wasn't even, well, again, I think the pandemic worked for so many people. It worked and hurt so many people at the same time.
Right.
Like, the pandemic made it where Roman could leave, come back, and now all of a sudden it's just like, I just come here to wreck shop. I gotta have this title. Okay, cool. And now you see why I gotta have it. I gotta be at the head of the table, And you're like, oh shit, okay.
And the way he be just talking out of Jay Uso, I'm like, damn.
First of all, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, look, there's only so much hoeing one person can do every week. You're not gonna keep hoeing me out.
Even when what was that last week when he called himself trying to jump in Drew McIntyre's face, Jey Uso, Roman look at him like, did I ask you to do that bullshit, motherfucker?
Like, I mean, the thing is, yeah, the Usos are their best when they're together as a team.
Right.
And I get Jimmy still hurt because he probably ain't cleared yet.
No.
But fuck, man. Because all this does, so I really think they should just, as much as I love seeing it, I feel like they should have squashed it, because the whole thing is supposed to set up Roman saying he's the head of the table versus the actual head of the table being The Rock.
Right.
And it's like, y'all want to do that for Mania? I'm fine. That's a Mania match. Absolutely it is. But you need people to be at Mania. You want the crowd for this. Yeah. You want all this to come in, and you want the crowd, you want this energy, so when it's built up, it pays off. I'm like, if you can't do it right now, because you don't, the one thing I will give Vince credit for, it's weird I'm saying this, he won't let Roman pin the Fiend right now.
I think that does make sense too, because especially the way the Fiend's building up, especially with Alexa at his side, it's like you can't mess that up. You just can't.
Because of course, people be like, well, they let Goldberg pin him. Yeah, they had somebody had to get the belt off of him, unfortunately, just to be able to have it where Roman did not pin the Fiend, because they knew it. Granted, yes, it sucks that watch Goldberg pin the Fiend after that, after all the shit the Fiend would take. Like, the Fiend has had it, he's been electrocuted, had his shit stumped in numerous times, and Goldberg is the one that fucking pinned him. Everybody was like, that is not believable. But it's either that or have people lose their mind off 8 Superman punches to the face.
Yeah, because especially the way when him and Seth went at it, I thought Seth was just beating him like he stole money and everything else and then some from him.
Like, he went and hit on Becky Lynch in the back. That's how he beat.
Right.
But that's the thing, though. Like, but that was the beautiful thing about that match. It started seeing what the Fiend really is. When he kept hitting his Mog in the head and stomping him, and he would keep getting up. And it's like, okay, I get it. It's gonna take something miraculous to beat him. Again, you're not gonna tell me that Goldberg's spear is miraculous, and you for damn sure ain't gonna tell me this motherfucker doing this 8 times is miraculous. It's not. So it's smart to take them away from each other. Keep them away from each other. Let the Fiend and Alexa Bliss do what they do. Because again, as of right now, does the Fiend have a challenger? No. Because more than likely will happen, and I can see this probably, it's gonna sound fucked up if it does. Drew will go over. Drew's more than likely gonna go over on Roman. No, Roman will go over on Drew.
Okay.
Oh, that's gonna be a hard one. I don't know who's going over that one. I can't call it. Let me be honest. I can't call it. Either way it goes, when Drew is done with Survivor Series, I can honestly see The Miz cashing in and getting the title.
I can see it too.
Because if The Miz cashes in, guess who his opponent is automatically?
Orton.
The Fiend.
Oh, yeah. Especially what happened this past Monday.
Now you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because remember, the WWE has made this new rule that there are no automatic rematch clauses.
You are right.
You have to earn it. So once Randy Orton is out the picture, he has to earn his way back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let maybe, you know, whatever happens with the two, with the Miz and Drew, Miz wins it because you got to put it on a face. You got to put it on a face because even though a heel, excuse me, because technically the Fiend is supposed to be a face now.
And it's kind of weird to say and look at that, especially with all the creepy stuff he's done. But then again, as many years as we've dealt with the likes of Undertaker and Kane, I guess it can work.
I mean, I guess it can, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't see myself saying that the Fiend is a fucking baby face that we should cheer for. Granted, I will cheer for anybody who beats the shit out of people.
Oh yeah,
but definitely. The Fiend Bray Wyatt is what I'm cheering for. It's like that's not the thing. So what happened? Like I said, you go back, you have Drew and the Miz. You have the Miz somehow finally cash in and win it. Drew McIntyre he has to fight his way back up. That's what sends him to the Royal Rumble to win it. That's what sends him to the Rumble because now he can't get an automatic rematch. Drew goes to the Rumble to try to win it. Sheamus eliminates him. That sets up Drew and Sheamus at WrestleMania. And so now the Miz needs a new challenger, and it's the one person he was talking shit about, and it's now the Fiend. Think about it. The Miz keeps facing Bray Wyatt.
Right.
The Miz faced Bray Wyatt at a pay-per-view, and he faced Bray Wyatt on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
He is not yet faced. Granted, he lost to Bray Wyatt, but he is yet to face the Fiend.
The Fiend, right.
And the Fiend becomes the thing when the WWE title is involved.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be hella interesting.
Now you see how you put, but I mean, I think that's the only way you can. I mean, that looks like it because I don't see Sheamus, I don't see AJ, I don't see Braun, I don't see Keith Lee, I don't see Matt Riddle. None of the dudes on the Survivor Series team, I don't see them being thrust yet into a title picture. Riddle might eventually get there. But I think you got to go through everything else first.
Right. And especially I think it's going to take a good minute for Keith to get up there too, because I don't know how many more times I can see him and Braun Strowman fight each other. It's like, okay, I get it. You got two big mofos who want to go at it every other week. And I like Keith Lee, especially with his NXT work, but it's like, I want to see him go somebody else besides Braun all the time.
And I'm not gonna even lie to you when I say this. This is so fucked up to say, but I mean it. I would even settle for him having a Dijakovic feud on Raw at this point.
Thank you, because
I was settle for him having a Dijakovic feud on Raw
because they had some damn good matches.
Yeah, because it's like Vince makes it where we're flushed out of. There's really no room for new stories right now because he's so stuck on things. And again, goes back to the WWE could have taken time off.
Right.
They could have willingly taken time off. They did not need to run. They could have taken this off because now I tell people always say that the Royal Rumble is the road to WrestleMania. It's not. Survivor Series. Survivor Series starts it because you'll see what's getting ready to happen. You'll start seeing okay, this is a feud somewhere that's going to play around. Is this going to be a main feud? Because then you'll start to see it really bubble over at the Rumble. And by that time, you're like, okay, WrestleMania.
Right.
Because Drew and Roman work because Drew eliminated Roman from the Rumble.
Yep, I remember that too. Now, do you think this is going to be legit the last time we see Taker? Since this is like 30 years thing or whatever, or you think
gonna be a coach in NXT? Taker's gonna be a coach in NXT, which is gonna be weird as fuck looking.
Yeah,
it's gonna be weird as fuck because the Undertaker is gonna be in regular shirts and jeans and shit in Orlando, telling talent what they should do, and maybe there might be. I don't think it is. I'm sorry. I don't think it is his last. I think you might get that Fiend match with him, but it's going to be one of these cinematic joints again.
That's what I was thinking about too. I was like,
but finally he puts the Fiend over. I think he puts the Fiend over. Because again, Taker's an old school dude. Taker's always like, if I'm going out, I'm going out on my back.
Right.
And Taker's last match was
AJ.
Right, was AJ, which is technically what wasn't a match. He didn't go out on his back. He's an old school dude. He wants to go out with his back looking at the lights. So that's why the Roman loss would have been the perfect exit for him. Because it was the way he wanted to go out.
And
it was the old school way on my back out. But they say Taker might be a coach at NXT. And that's like, I get it, but because again, it's like, it's not like a Triple H, it's not like a Shawn Michaels coach where it's like, okay, I can see them backstage now being different roles. It's the fucking Undertaker.
Exactly. So
well, look, the Undertaker is the dude now that has an article, there's a full family spread in People fucking magazine, bro.
Oh man, I saw that. I was like, wow.
So to let you know, that lets you know Mark Calloway is here. Like,
definitely.
I mean, if the last ride didn't tell people, it's that Mark Calloway is here, and this is what it is. But do I think? I literally think, fuck no, because it can't. Because again, COVID. His 30-year for Survivor Series would have been bigger if it wasn't COVID, because you could have had maybe a Pete Rose cameo or something.
Right.
Well, Pete Rose is mainly with Kane, but something will happen where, you know, him doing this, because again, it's 30 years, but 30 years in the WWE, not even just 30 years in the business. That's 30 years in the WWE.
Right, because he went nowhere else during that.
No, time. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Well, he was, I mean, not during the 30 years, but before he was in WCW and all that other shit. So he's got almost 40 years in the business.
Right.
So again, I can understand. That's what I'm saying. He's one of those people that's like, if you want to go, you've earned it. You can go. Technically, Orton can go if he wanted to.
Yeah,
Orton earned it.
He up there. Yeah, because he up there now.
Did you hear the idea he was pitching about him and Cena?
What's that?
So the idea is let him. So now he's 14. Let him win the title 2 more times. 16. Him versus. Let him get the title at like they had a title, or I think it's hung up. But it's him versus Cena at WrestleMania to get 17, to see who will get 17.
And the times I kind of used to be tired of seeing them going back and forth, I actually wouldn't mind seeing that one.
I wouldn't mind seeing it for 2 of them, those 2 in particular, to get the record. I can live with that.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
Yeah, I can deal with that one too. One more thing on that side. You seen the last episode of Mandalorian, right?
Yes, I have.
What you think about Sasha's performance?
She's learning to be an actor.
Okay.
I don't think it was bad. It wasn't bad, but you can tell if you didn't pay, like, as an actor, I can tell. It's like when she stepped on that set, she might have had fans of Sasha Banks, but that's Mercedes Varnado, who now has to be a regular actor. Remember, the boss is a flashy type personality and all these other different things. So I'm guaranteeing people were expecting to see that out of her.
Definitely.
And I was like, you're not gonna get that. I was like, I want to see what they make her do. That's why her dialogue wasn't a lot, if you didn't notice.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because she has to be an actor. And again, it's not taken away from what she does in the ring and what the character Sasha Banks is, but she was. And also, I didn't know that I'd been in love with Katie Sackhoff for that long, and I should have been known who she was.
Bro, when I saw Katie Sackhoff looking like that, I was like, it's bad enough I like some redheads, but good Lord, Katie, why are you doing
First
this?
of all, I didn't know that she was Emmett Black on The Flash. I feel bad as somebody who watches The Flash religiously. Didn't know she came from the Schmoes No thing. Didn't know. These things, didn't know. Now I'm like, I feel bad about my life in a history lesson, but hey, Katie, how you doing?
Right.
Like, I'm like, look, and plus, well, the thing is, she might not have had dialogue in that first episode, but she's gonna be either in at least one more episode. Remember, because she was in that trailer with the black cloak on.
Right. So,
and the whole thing with, with Bo trying to get the Darksaber. So it's like,
so guaranteed they're gonna be coming back in another episode.
At least one. But again, that's what a lot of them want to. So now, But that is funny you brought this up, because what this does now is literally ties all the way back into the conversation about Zelina Vega when what she tweeted that got her fired, that I support unionization. Because remember the SAG after they talked to Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega, about this is true because they're on TV repeatedly. They should be unionized. But what happens is if they become union, Vince there's a certain level of rules Vince has to hold to and adhere to, and he don't want to do that because me and SAG after don't play when it comes to that. But also now I bring that up because now Sasha's in the union.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a tangled web right there. And then matter of fact, I found out when somebody who had responded to Zelina talking about their supporter. Oh yeah, Gabriela Carteris, aka Andrea from Old School Now.
President of the SAG after.
President, right. So she was like, hey, I support you and I'll see what I can do to help. And I'm like, oh damn, this thing get real now.
Well, they've been talking, but again, like I said, I remember when I talked to Callisto a while back.
Okay.
And I remember I was talking to him and I was like, yo, y'all not union? He was like, no. Damn. I was like, yo, but you're on television every week.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, well, the way they get through it, because it's like it's reality scripted. And I'm like, I okay, if that's fair, but at the same time, it's like, because what union would do would also pay them more.
Oh, I see what
union pays them more. Union pays them more, takes away that independent contractor, gets them benefits. Again, things Vince don't want to do.
Damn it, McMahon.
But how do you think rich people stay rich? Yeah. Let's be real. We talk about, like, people talk about Tyler Perry, and it's like, yeah, that's how Tyler got his money. Tyler don't hire writers, all this other shit. Anything you ain't got to spend money on, you keep. It's for you now. Boom, you good.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vince don't want to do that, but it's like you got these people who are busting their ass, and yeah, some want to go further. That's like I had one of my buddies was asking me, he was like, well, so would that make The Miz in the union? Because The Miz has done movies. I was like, I guarantee you WWE studio productions are non-union. I'm pretty goddamn sure they are.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're not.
Because I was going to say, if they were union, they would do more stuff than they usually would. But as you could tell, even before pandemic kicked in, they haven't done as much production as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
it's so messed up, man. Like even people over in TNA and over in Impact and over in AEW are like, yo, can we unionize? And again, it's like it as somebody in the union, I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, and right. you want it. It's good and bad because it's like sometimes you're like, what the fuck do unions do? And then you realize when you need them, they're there, and it makes shit happen. You get paid when you need to get paid. They make sure your safety is a thing. You're always being told like, hey, do you need anything? Blah blah blah. They're checking on you. All this, and it's understandable. There's been this big talk now since she said that, and it's come up before about unionization within the wrestling industry, and it would change a lot. Cody said it would kill the business, and I think it would put almost like a chokehold on what can and can't be done. A lot of shit wouldn't be the same. A lot of shit would change. A lot of shit would be different. It would, certain matches, like, because they would all get stunt performer pay, number one, because of what they do. The matches would be, wouldn't have as much, unless they choose to in waivers. And again, it's just the protections and taking care of the people, which at the end of the day, it really boils down to it. Like, yo, you gonna take care of these people that are busting their asses for you? Which, if you ask Vince McMahon, he's pretty much not going to, which sucks ass. It very much sucks ass.
Yeah, unfortunately.
If you ask me, like, do I believe they should get it? Yes, I believe they should, because I believe they deserve. You can't sit there, call them independent contractors, but yet tell them they can't make money on the side.
And yeah, I think that's totally bull.
You know what I'm saying? You can't say that. You're an independent contractor, but you can only make money from me. It's like, what's the point?
Because
What's the point?
Because you gotta make a living outside of doing what you love. Because it's like the last thing you want to do is end up. Sad to say, you don't want to end up like in the likes of Darren Drozdov, or end up how Edge was before he got himself fully repaired.
And that's the thing too, and that's another thing. People forget that, like, yo, some of these cats are lucky and fortunate that they don't have kids. The responsibility is literally only to them.
Right.
But once you have children, now you look at it in a completely different light.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like, yes, I love what I do in this ring, but at the same time, I have to be available for my child. Who's gonna say, especially like, because you have some mothers, you have mothers in the WWE, some are married. I don't know if Lacey Evans is or whatever, but you have some that are, some that aren't. Right. You have Tamina's a mom, you got dads in there and stuff like that. So it's like, and then you do have complete family men and family women. And so it's just like, when you still you love what you do. You love what you do. And of course, you can do shit so well and make sure everything's done safely. But also, unfortunately, a freak accident can occur.
Oh, yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation. A freak accident can occur, and you don't want that to ever happen. But it is potential. There's a potential for it. And so now you just got to sit back and be like, well, shit, how do I do now? Now you're struggling to find a plan B. Whereas if you've already been allowed to have a plan B where you're making residual income, you good. You're good.
But jerk face McMahon don't want you to do all that.
And again, he don't. And like people always ask me, well, if Vince McMahon called you tomorrow and said he wants you to do some shit on TV, would you do it? Yep. Not gonna lie. Why? Because I need the paycheck.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm not in a position where I can't be. I don't need the check. I'm good. I'm not in that position.
And I wouldn't be mad if we went ahead and did it.
Bro, listen, let me tell you something. Also, why would somebody asked me, they were like, would you like to get into WWE and do something? I was like, I would love to be on WWE TV to wrestle or just be shown a couple of good times in a good light, because what that does for me as an actor again is now boost me up to where I can say, oh, now I have this extra credit and shit like that. And that's literally all I'm trying to do, man. Just trying to keep working, bro.
Yeah, man. And I know you've been pumping out those auditions hard as hell, man.
Bro, I literally got one I got to do. That's due in about 4 hours. But I'll study once we wrap this up. I'm about to study my lines for that. I'm gonna study my lines for that. While I study, I'm gonna work out for 20 something minutes, do another Focus T25, so I can get my lines in my head while I'm working out and clear my head, and then boom. Because there's a saying of, you can, for every 10 auditions you have, you'll land at least one. And so I've been busting my ass with all, like, any self-tape I've had now, I've never just taken it lightly, if you will. I've made sure that every time I take my self-tapes, it's like, all right, cool. What do I need to do to make sure I'm on point and I'm doing what I need to do and I'm where I need to be, and am I hitting these marks in this lines and dialogue? Because I'm too good not to. It's the first time I'll openly say it. I'm too good not to.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, not to just say this not only just as a friend but as a fan, but you are constant living proof of this can be done. It's just a matter of how hard you want to go, how hungry you want it, and how badly you want to do it.
Thank you, man. It's the truth. It's like, I have a bunch of friends around me who are doing dope shit. Friends who are on TV shows and movies and everything and making money and living good and, supporting their family. And I'm like, okay. And I have had that whole, why not me? I've had those moments that, why not me? And it's like, I'm doing certain things, but I'm like, I need to be able to do something where I want to do something where if I get a paycheck, I can drop 10, 20 on my kids like it's nothing.
Right.
That's my goal. You know what I'm saying? Because my kids are more important than my kids come first. Yes, daddy's got to take care of himself, but my kids need to be okay.
Oh, yeah,
my kids have to be okay. That's always what it is.
Definitely. And the fact that you're doing what you're doing, and they obviously support and love what you're doing too, that's just more fuel for that fire, man. And that's what makes it awesome to me.
Well, support from my daughter is like I'm not the Onyx Kids on YouTube. I'm not the Onyx family, the Onyx Kids, so she don't want to watch Daddy. She's like, I watch Onyx Kids. I'm not watching you, and I'm like, I get it, baby. It's okay. But man, as always, bro, I love these conversations, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt,
man. When are you starting your thing up, or have you started?
You know what? I was gonna start about a couple of weeks ago, but then again, with all the election stuff and everything going on, and then when things kind of sort of picking up on the work side, because I'm gonna be running to the slow season in the next month or so I got to pick up as much as I can. I think definitely I'm gonna kick something off this weekend, and then a couple things into that. I'll definitely hit you up and let you know how your schedule is so we can rock on something on that end.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, because I wanted to make sure people know when it starts happening to make sure you check you out and tell people how they can find you.
You can find me at Chauncey C. Woodson on Facebook, Chauncey_Prime on Twitter, and CCW_78 on Instagram. And like this good gentleman said, I'm going to be coming out soon with an IG live show called Chauncey Chat Live. I'm going to be talking about a lot of movie-ish. We're going to go dig deeper and further in certain movie subjects. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, I'm going to have this cool dude being involved with me whenever he gets that good time, making things happen. There you go,
man. That's all it is about, man. Just making things happen. I see that, and I see what you're doing, bro. And of course, having a regular gig, and like you say, it's ready to slow down. So you got to push in, make this money, make this time, make all that you can for the moment. So I don't blame you, and stay safe out there at home. I might sneak out home for a second, because I'm like, I gotta get out of here for a minute or two. But nonetheless, y'all already know the drill. Follow me Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington. Y'all already know if you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. And here's if you're on the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, man. I will holler at y'all later. Take care. I'm out. Bye.
2 fingers salute.